Welcome to this video DSLR review on the Tiffen Variable ND Filter. I think all of you know why you want to use an ND filter. If not, check out this video. In this review I want to talk about, first of all, why I chose the Tiffen Variable ND Filter. Secondly, how to use it. Also, I will show you some sample footage and advantages and disadvantages of it. There are variable ND filters starting from $10 going up to $550. I just read a lot of reviews on it and found out that the Tiffen one for $150 is really worth the money, and I also found that $150 is a well balanced price. Now let's have a look on it. This is the filter. It comes in this handy pouch, which is much better than the plastic ones from other manufacturers. The filter has a scale which goes from minimum to maximum. You can even go further than the max, but then you get a lot of color shift in it. Now I will screw the filter on a lens, but the filter is too big for this lens because the lens has 67mm and the filter has 77mm. So I bought the step up or step down, depends on from which side you see it, ring to make it from 67mm to 77mm. This even works with my 52mm lens. When I bought the 77mm filter, I didn't even have a 77mm lens, but I already knew that I might buy in the future a 77mm lens, so I recommend to everyone who is considering buying other lenses in the future that you get a 77mm or even 82mm filter, that you don't have the problem later to have a too small filter for your lens. But of course the most important question is, how does the filter perform? So I took a whole series of pictures outside for that. You can see the settings I used in the top right hand corner. The first picture you see is the lens without filter, and you can see a little bit of vignetting in the corners because I'm shooting with 17mm wide angle. Now I put the filter on and the colors got a little bit stronger through it because it's two polarized filters, but the vignetting on the picture quality, it didn't really change anything. Now I went further to almost to the max, and you can already see a lot of vignetting, and on max you can see this typical X pattern. Of course it is not usable anymore. In this series of pictures I used the same settings, just that I zoomed a little bit in to 28mm. On the picture without filter you cannot see any vignetting actually. Also with the filter there is no vignetting. On medium it is still fine. Here you can see a little bit of vignetting, and on max you can see a lot of vignetting and also color shift. It got more blue. Again same settings, just this time 50mm focal length. No vignetting visible on this picture, and also with the filter on minimum. On medium still fine, almost max still fine, and again on max it's just the color shift visible but no vignetting or just a little bit. Now I wanted to test the sharpness of the filter. I am still with 50mm and f7. I was using 33cm focus distance, and this is now the picture in 100%. No filter, minimum, medium, almost max, max. Except of max you cannot see a big difference in sharpness. Even when I look very closely it's very hard to see a difference, so for me that looks very good. Now the different setting I used now is that I put the aperture on f2.8, so I'm shooting now wide open, and you can see that even without filter I have some vignetting in the corners. With the filter on it, it didn't change much. Still on medium it's very similar. On almost max it is also still similar. And on max you can see some more vignetting and also the strong color shift like always. Now I wanted to test the sharpness with f2.8. So this is the picture with no filter. Filter on minimum, on medium, almost max, max. Also here I can see just a very little difference of sharpness, which you would never realize in a real life situation. And now the last series of pictures I took of a tree, because you usually don't have just a plain yellow wall, so it's not a very practical condition. So let's see, I used f2.8 again and 17mm, so I should have a lot of vignetting, but you cannot really see any vignetting because there are so many colors in the picture that in the real life you don't realize the vignetting. Now with the filter on it, you can see that the colors got stronger like always, and that the picture quality doesn't change much. It's now medium, and there I already went all the way to the maximum, where you can see of course a lot of color shift. Now coming to the conclusion, I want to talk about the advantages and the disadvantages of the Variable ND filter from Tiffen. The advantages are that it has excellent build quality. One time I dropped it on the concrete and it survived even without a scratch. Secondly, the picture quality is maybe not excellent, but it's definitely fine, and for this price absolutely okay. And of course this very handy pouch, which makes it very easy to bring it everywhere and not have to worry about it. The disadvantages are, one of them is that it is actually not very strong. Like when you are under very bright sunlight, you cannot go with open aperture like f1.8 or even 2.8 is not always possible. Just that even when you go almost to the max, it's still not strong enough. So for that you might need a normal ND filter which is stronger, or use both at the same time or something, or have to increase your shutter speed, something like that. In order to reduce the vignetting, the outside filter is bigger than the inside filter, so you cannot anymore use a lens hood or a lens cap for it. But all in all, I have to say that I'm very satisfied with this filter. I already have it since more than half a year, and I already shot a lot of videos with it, a lot of short films, documentary, music video, image film, and I can now show you some of my footage I took with it, just a little series. And like I can say that I never personally in my practical work, I never saw any difference of sharpness with filter or without filter. No color shifts, of course you cannot go to the max, but if you don't go to the max, it's absolutely fine, and I really love this filter. Now thanks for watching, and check out my other videos to learn more about video DSLR.